What's up, traders? Hope everybody is enjoying their weekend. I am Matt, your host with Conservative Trades, and I am bringing you another episode of The Trader's Mind, where we will take a deep dive into certain psychological behaviors that are associated with losing out on winning trades. You know, there's been a lot of people out there that have done videos and educational tutorials and written articles on how a trader deals with losses and how a trader comes back from losses. And, you know, if you suffer a major losing day in the markets, like how do you mentally overcome that and not let it affect how you come into the market the next day? We talk about how there's revenge trading and how when you suffer great losses, you're tempted to revenge trade on stocks. And oftentimes that only digs you deeper into the hole. But there's not really many videos out there, or let's put it like this. I don't even know if I've ever heard anybody really talk about the psychology behind or the mentality that comes with when you lose out on what could be massively winning trades and how that can even affect you. You know, when you are in on a trade and you get stopped out, and it's not like you suffer any kind of major loss. You could even break even, or you might even just take a little bit of a profit off the table, and then it comes back to break even, and you stop yourself out, only to see the stock ultimately resolve in the direction that you knew it was gonna go. Ultimately, end up missing out on massive gains. Like we don't talk about that often. We don't talk about how the revenge trading can even come into play with something like that. And so that's kind of what I want to talk about today. And I think I can talk about it because of the kind of day that I had yesterday. So now look, this past week was a great week in the markets for me. I ended the week almost $2,000 in the profit. Every day was a green day except for Friday, the last day. Friday was not a green day. I ended the day down around $250, maybe a little more with fees and commissions. But I think the more frustrating thing is I actually had to leave. I was kind of on some time constraints yesterday, and I had to be on the road to leave town. I was going out of town yesterday, and I had to get on the road by like 11:30. So I had to get out of the market and go ahead and do my recap video and make sure that was posted to YouTube and everything. And then I check my phone as I'm riding down the road, and I see two trades that I had taken and actually taken a little bit of a loss on, stopped out on, that ultimately ended up resolving in my favor. And I'm going to show you what those two stocks are right now. Now, I posted the live stream video. I stream live on YouTube every morning, roughly starting around 9 o'clock in the morning. And I'll usually go till 11, maybe 12 o'clock is when I end the live stream. And so you can see this for yourself. And I even talked about it in the recap video, but CoDX or CoDX, sometimes I call it CoDX. This is the daily chart. If you go back and look at my recap video, I'll show you where there was, and I'm kind of bringing this down to a 5-minute chart here. So yesterday we were looking at this, and I was trading in here, you know. Now I told you I had to leave at like 11:30, right? So, you know, and I really had to stop probably, I think it was around like 11 or 11:05, 11:10 maybe. I had to stop because I had to hurry up and do the recap video and then get on the road by 11:30ish, right? So I'm trading CoDX all in here, and I noticed how overextended it was, and it came up here and it broke the previous day's high but got slammed back down, and it tried to make a recovery, but it continued to get slammed back down. So I decided to go short in this area, and I was looking for it to really come down and break through. I think I might have got in around here, around 10 o'clock. I noticed it had pushed through, came up, couldn't really hold. So I think I started getting in here. But anyway, to make a long story short, I got stopped out a couple times. I was taking very conservative share size. I think I had borrowed 200 shares for shorting. So it wasn't like I was going to be taking a massive position on this anyway, just a couple hundred shares. But I finally got chopped out enough times, and then it was like, man, I had to go. Like I said, I had to make the recap video. And so when I'm on the road, I checked the stock and it finally resolved. Like it was all the way down here. I think it got halted at one point, but eventually came all the way down to 11.57. Really, it ended up coming down to $11 before the bounce back. I was so angry. I was so angry that I was this close, Now, if I had been able to stay behind, I would have taken another stab at it. You know, and I don't know if I had gone in with the full 200 shares. I was roughly, in and out between, 100, 150, 200 shares, whatever. So it's very possible that as we started to get the drop, maybe I would have only gotten that drop on 150 shares or whatever, but maybe I would have added in. I might have taken profit at these levels here. I might have taken 50 shares off the table or something, and then if it bounced back, maybe added back in. So let's just say I would have even just taken 100 shares on this, or we'll say 150 shares, but not even, just let the 100 shares ride, even down to say $14. I would have made $400. 400, maybe if it was 150 shares, $400 or $500 on this. This would have been a $400 or $500 move for me. And if I had had the $200 shares on it, it might have been more of like a $700, $800 move for me. But just to know that I actually took the L on the day. I took the L, guys. I ended the day down, like I said, right, like $250, and I come back in later only to see this massive drop. And the crazy thing about it, here's the even crazier thing about it. Crazier thing about it is I thought to myself, what if I just take 200 shares short and put a stop like way up here? Okay, and even if it comes up and stops me out, oh well, I'll end the day down $500. That's fine. I can end the day down $500. Like I said, we had a great week this past week. I had a $400 and some dollar day. I had like a $700 day, an $800 day. Like I can suffer a $500 day. So I thought to myself, what if I just go short 200 shares? I'll set a stop here, and if it ends up flushing, which I knew it was going to do at some point, then I'll just call my broker and have him get me out. And so my stomach is turning here. I'm thinking to myself, man, I could have, if I had done that, I would have made almost $1,000. And it started getting me thinking, man, Monday morning, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to look for another stock that looks just like CoDX, and I'm just going to crush it. I'm going to crush it. But I have to stop. I have to stop myself right there, and I have to think, wait a minute. No, be rational about this. You may see another stock that comes in here, coming in here Monday, and maybe even CoDX. Yeah, maybe I'll be tempted to come in here and think, man, what if we crush these levels and even come further down here? And we've seen it time and time again where stocks fell, and they come all the way up to $20, $30, whatever, and then a few days later they're like all the way back down to $4. Okay, we've seen that. Yes, we've seen that, but I still need to come into the market on Monday morning and really check the technicals. I need to approach it with a rational mindset. I can't come in here looking to revenge trade. Just because we saw, a $6, $7, $8 drop almost on CoDX does not mean that we're going to get another, $5, $6, $7, $8 drop on Monday. As a matter of fact, it could shoot up and retest some of these levels. There could be some major news over the weekend that just, pushes this way past even the previous highs. I mean, we could shoot up to $40. I'm like you cannot just come in with that mindset of, oh, I'm going to tear it up now. I'm going to tear it up now. Again, we often look at this only when it's on a losing trade. Like if I had lost a ton of money, if I was trying to long CoDX and it flushed way down here and I got caught in a halt and I ended up taking $1,000 loss or something, I might be tempted Monday to come in and try to revenge trade this, hoping that there's going to be some kind of short squeeze out the gates. The other one that I was on was ALT. And ALT ended up doing the same thing. Just getting crushed all the way down to the $3 levels. But here, I was up in these areas, getting chopped out all morning, looking for this drop right here, and I got chopped out several times. And then look, lo and behold, here, right around 11:35, you can see the time down here. Right around 11:35, it's getting crushed. And I checked my phone, and I looked at my phone here, probably about 11:45ish, and I see it all the way down here, like in the 320s, and I'm like, my goodness. I was in 800 shares at one point looking for this move, and it just wasn't making it. It was a chop fest. Buyers would come in, buy it up, it'd get slammed down. Then it'd get bought back up and then slammed down. And I got caught up all in this choppiness, and finally it resolved. And so obviously, yeah, right now I'm thinking, man, how can I come in here and like really, I mean, there's still a lot of room to drop. We could drop all the way back down to these areas. How can I capitalize on this? But here's the thing. I've got to come back into the market Monday morning, and I can't be thinking about ALT. I can't be thinking about CoDX. There might not even be sufficient volume on those stocks during those days. Okay? There might be other stocks in play. I can't be thinking about revenge trading. I can't go into this weekend worrying about the losses. Yeah, if I had won out on ALT and CoDX, if I had been able to stick around and trade those stocks, yeah, I would have ended the day probably down or probably up $1,200 instead of having a $250 losing day at the end of the week. And I'm sitting there thinking about it, and I'm stewing in it, and it's messing with my mind, guys. It really is. But this is the reality of trading. These are the kind of thoughts, the thought processes and the thought patterns that we go through whether it's on trades that we lose heavily on, we take heavy losses on, or they're trades that we just, we keep getting stopped out on, we don't really lose much on, and then they end up killing it, going in the direction that we knew that they would go. We knew it would go in that direction, and we missed out on all those gains. But we cannot let that ruin our weekend. We cannot let that bring us into the next day of trading with the wrong kind of mindset. We have to reset our mind. That's what we have to do every single day when we come to the market, no matter what kind of day you had the day before, whether it was a losing day, whether it was a winning day, or whether it was a break-even day that, and the trades ended up going all in your favor, and you could have ended, with X amount of dollars. I mean, you just, when you come into the market the next day, you have to reset your mind, and you have to come in with a clear perspective and a very unbiased approach. Okay, so hopefully this can be an encouragement to some of you guys that might have missed out on some really good winning trades on Friday. This past week was an incredible week for the market. I'll bring this chart back down here. Even just looking here at the S&P 500 on the daily chart, we have genuinely faced a historical moment in trading history. I mean, look at this. Look at this drop, guys, from 340 or almost 340 all the way down to 285. I mean, we have suffered essentially within just a couple days, really. Within just a few days, we have suffered a 12% correction in the markets. And it's a healthy correction nonetheless, and we've seen it happen multiple times before. But I don't think ever to this extent at one time, ever to this extent. And so just without going into too many details about all that, I mean, I'll make another video where we can talk about all that stuff. But it was a historical moment in the markets this week, and there was a lot of opportunity to trade. There was a lot of opportunity to trade, and there was a lot of opportunity to make some serious gains in the market this past week. So I have no doubt that there's a lot of traders out there who might be watching this video that maybe you missed out. Maybe you missed out on some trades, and maybe some of you guys are thinking the same thing. Okay, and so this was a big week in the markets, and maybe there were several of us that lost out on what could have been some serious gains. But you know what? We need to come back in Monday with a fresh mindset and just kind of reset our way of thinking. We need to approach the market with a very unbiased approach, and we just need to be ready to come in and see what the market is actually going to hand us. And we need to trade according to our strategy and stick to our rules and not worry about what happened or what didn't happen the day before or the week before. So hopefully that can be an encouragement to you guys. I'm telling you, if you can grasp this thing called trader psychology, and if you can really hone in on developing some good skills, a good skill set formed around a very good solid understanding of trader psychology and how it works and how it can affect even your own way of trading, if you can really nail that down, you can be a good trader. You can be a solid day trader and make consistent profits. So I'm going to continue to come at you guys with these episodes. And if you did miss the video yesterday or the $250 loss, I'll actually include a link to that at the end of this video, so you can go back and check it out and see what I was talking about on CoDX and ALT. And anyway, I hope you guys have a good rest of the weekend, and join us in the live stream if you want. This week, we do it every Monday through Friday, starts roughly around 9 o'clock. Sometimes I get in there a little bit late, but would love to have you. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next week. Take care.